There is so much crap going on right now that is completely out of your control. There's so many things that are happening. We've been getting a lot of emails and private messages, um, more this week because of what happened last week. Um, so, just to recap, because you guys may not all be watching this in live time, last week in the States, the Capitol Hill was, um, crap, I don't even know what you guys, how you would describe it, but it was infiltrated and attacked. And a lot of you guys that I'm hearing from, our anxiety's gone up, sleep has become an issue, fear for the safety of your family, all kinds of things are happening in your physical symptoms. A lot of gut issues are increasing. We're hearing all kinds of things. So I wanted to pop in here and kind of give you my thoughts on all of this and talk you through how I would absolutely talk um, those that are in my program through from a coaching aspect. So, first off, you guys in your training, in all of your training, you guys are trained tactically for fire. You guys know when you are going on a fire scene what your what your role is, what your jobs are, what the parameters are, which each of you has to do. You know how to work as a unit. You have practiced this over and over and over again. You know what to do. Tactically for police, you guys are trained a lot as well in what to do in so many different scenarios from a tactical perspective. There's so much that you are trained in your job to be prepared for. And when COVID hit, I started seeing a lot more fear, a lot more anxiety. And in conversations that I was having, they were conversations where you guys were saying things like, well, I definitely signed up for this job knowing that there was a risk to my own life, but I never, ever signed up for this job to put my family's life at risk. And so COVID itself became what Brene Brown calls a fucking first time. And when there is something that you're not trained for, when your all of your training that has gone in tactically does not deal with a situation that is present, then you have to learn how to navigate it all on your own, all from start, from scratch. You have to basically figure out the operating procedures to get through this. And that's what we've done with COVID. The beginning COVID, all the fear and the anxiety, I've seen a big decrease in that from a lot. That being said, when certain services are completely being taken out in fire services and that from COVID, there is that level of fear because you're back into a first time. What the hell do we do when our whole service is taken out? So you have to go through the start with this. You have to, you start off and you're like, okay, what the hell do we do? We've never navigated this. How do we navigate PPE? How do we navigate getting all these, everything out? How do we make sure that the PPE is up to regulations? There's so many different logistics and things that you guys needed to figure out when it came to COVID. Last week, same thing happened. How many of you ever thought that your Capitol building would be attacked? And how many of you ever thought that yes, when you guys are going to calls as police officers, the you are often treated disrespectfully and you're looked at badly. But last week, it wasn't even by the usual suspects in a sense. It was by people that say that they have the same values as you, that say that they are also Republicans. Now, I'm Canadian. Our political system is very, very different. We have so many different political parties and everything. We don't have necessarily like Republican and Democrat. So it's very different, but at the same time, with all of your values and who you are and how you base everything, you never thought that people that were on one side of a political party or another would go after what you stand for as an American and what you fight for and you live for every single day. We are having people saying things to us where just because you wear an American flag on your uniform, you're worried that that is now going to put a risk to your safety on the job. And that goes against all of your beliefs and all your values as to why you even put on that uniform, is because you go out there to fight for people, to be helping people that are in need, and you put everybody's needs above your own in order to help and save them. And now they're starting to turn on you because social media has been doing a really, really good job. Social media has been doing such an amazing job on having everybody bring on more hate, bring on more violence, bring on more anger. And there are a lot of things that are out of your control with this right now. So what I wanted to do with this today is to come in here and show you the areas where you do absolutely 100% right now have control. So what are those? One of those is you have control over you yourself, how you act, how you behave, and everything. That being said, when your body is in a very, very stressed, hypervigilant state, everything looks like a fire to you. So everything as well, because deep down into your core, you are the person that helps people and that gives everything that you have to people. Because of that, when you are seeing injustices happening, you want to fight for them. But I am here to tell you right now that you don't have to fight for absolutely every single fire that is in front of you. You are able to right now pick and choose your battles. And this means that when there are political things or discrepancies and things happening at work from an administrative level, you can choose to decide if this is your battle or if it's not. And every situation is different. If it's something that's involving you where you're being blamed for something, then absolutely it's your fight. But if it is somebody else and you would have to get into the middle of it, and it would cause more stress and pressure on you and all of that, then it may not need to be your fight and your battle at this point in time. And that is hard when that your body is firing in this stress state where you're hypervigilant and on alert and need to be in everything at every point in time. But we have to stop and take a step back and really look at the full picture. Right now, your safety, your health, and your family are the most important. At least that is for me. And I'm going to assume that many of you that are in here share many of the same values as me. Your family, your health, and your safety, all together combined, is where we need to focus. So when there is something going on at work, stop and think about this. If I get involved in this, because quite often these are things we're not involved in. If I step into this situation, is this going to affect my health? Is this going to affect time and stress and pressure on my family and all my time? And if it is going to take time, energy, or put more stress and pressure onto your body, then ask yourself, do I have to fight this one fight? And make your choice. And then you go on to the next thing that's happening. And you decide, is this a battle that I need to be in? Is this a fight that I need to be in? Because there are so many fires happening right now. Social media is doing an amazing job at pitting so many people against you guys because you are fighting to help others and putting everybody else first. And it's time that somebody gives you permission to start putting yourself first. So ask yourself before going into anything, is this a battle that I need to be fighting right now, or where should I be putting my strengths? Where should I be putting things? Are there things that I could be doing for my family? Are there things that I could be doing for myself? There are things you have control over. If your sleep is totally off and your body's not regenerating, then everything is just going to be spiraling and keep going. And that is not going to keep you safe on the job so that you can come back home to your family. And so, another choice that you do have at this moment, I know that quite a few of you are questioning the fact that this job, this career that you have gone into is everything. It's all you've dreamed of being, it's who you are, it is everything, but it has changed. And some of you are totally in it forever, and that is absolutely amazing and phenomenal. But I do know that there's others that are questioning it for the sake of your family, for the sake of your safety, for the sake of your life, and also, is this what you really signed up for? Has this job changed so much that it isn't what you want to be fighting for anymore? If that is the case, then I want you to know that you have a choice in that. In my Facebook group, go to the unit section. There is an interview with Andy from Blue Light Leavers. He is a former police officer of 30 years who, upon retiring, tried getting into the civilian sector. And there is a huge difference in getting into the civilian sector. But what he found out is he had so many strengths, and he had learned so many skills that civilian jobs want, that corporate needs. And so he teaches you about all of these different jobs. He is located in the UK. Just want to give you a heads up. The teachings and trainings that he does are absolutely applicable to those of us in North America. A lot of the job postings and everything are in the UK, but what that means is it gives you ideas and options of what you can do here, and then you start checking your local postings. So there's lots of options there. That's Blue Light Leavers. You can check out the video in my group if you don't have it. I also have it in YouTube, in my interviews, my 911 lifestyle channel. Ask for it. I can link it below this for you if you guys would like. So you have options to stay, you have options to go. So if you're deciding to stay, know that it's not because you don't have choices. Okay? And having a choice sometimes can just take some pressure off of you as well. So at the moment, we've talked about making sure that you're choosing to fight the battles that are really good, are important for you to be fighting, and not fighting all of the battles. And understanding that if you choose to stay, you have choices, because there are many other different roles outside of being a first responder that you do have options to. So those are a lot of your different choices that you have. And then you have a choice also to either continue to put everybody else first, or to start putting yourself a little bit further forward. I hear so many stories of guys where their relationships are at such a point where they may end up divorced, or we have guys that are divorced and relationships with their kids are strained, where their kids are walking on eggshells around them because of their moods and that. But as a true responder, you're continuing to put everybody else's needs first. The thing is that quite often a lot of you, your families need you. And when you're working all of these crazy hours, you may have nothing left to give. You may be so exhausted. You may not be sleeping even though you're slow exhausted. Your body isn't repairing. You're short fuse around the kids, the family. Your gut is such a mess that it is not allowing your serotonin, which is that happy, feel good, I'm motivated and I want to do things with my family hormone, is not able to even kick in. So there are things that you can do on the physical side. I'm going to be going through those with you over the next couple of months. Beyond that, in this group, I'm going to start teaching you one by one, different signs, different symptoms. Tell me in the comments what symptoms you want me to be working on first. Do you want it to be sleep? Do you want it to be gut, motivation, and drive? Do you want it to be hypervigilance? It's really fascinating. All of your training is to train you guys to be in a hypervigilant state that you're never taught to be in a resting state. So we can talk about that. We can talk about the short fuse, being frustrated by everything, brain fog, cholesterol, testosterone, erectile dysfunctions. We can get into all of these things, diarrhea, constipation. What do you guys want to get into? Because all of these things are managed by your stress system, and we can fix those. 15 minutes a day. That's all that is required by those that are in my program is 15 minutes a day. And most of them do their lessons while they're sitting on the toilet in the morning. So you can absolutely do this. It is possible, but it's only possible if you allow yourself the permission to start taking care of yourself and put yourself and your needs higher on the totem pole. Putting yourself higher is what shows your family that they're worth it, and it can help fix a lot of the problems that are going on, the short fuse at home, the hypervigilance, the no motivation and drive, not being able to help out and do things at home. A lot of these things, the pressure of those things decrease once you start taking care of your stress system. So taking care of yourself actually allows you to be a better dad, to be a better spouse, to be a better parent, to be a better first responder. So I'm going to ask you, when are you ready to start taking care of yourself? There's so much crap going on there, and you can make every excuse in the world that you don't have time, but you have 15 minutes. I know that you do. So reach out. Let us know what you would do if you could, in 15 minutes a day. Tell us, what would you do if you had 15 minutes a day, started getting rid of your short fuse? If you were able to sleep, if your body was able to heal, if you could start reacting quicker on the job, if your brain actually worked and allowed you to fill out reports or remember things that happened, if you could walk out of a room after a conversation with your spouse and remember what they just asked you to do, how would that change your life? These are things that you have control of. You don't have control over what the social media is portraying to everybody right now. You don't have control over all the hate that people are giving to you, but you have control over how you react, what fires you put yourself into. You have control over deciding if you want to stay in your career or if you do want to start looking at avenues that are different. And you have control over where you put your time, focus, and energy. Is it going to be in your health, in your family, or is it going to be into continuing to go into fueling all of the hate that's out there? You decide. You absolutely have a choice in that. Let me know what your choice is. I am here for you, and I completely support you in whatever decision that you make.